this is Tia, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing another Hermitcraft season Clockwork video, and we are going to be reading Chapter 4, which is in episode 19. And this is story 5, based on Jem's perspective. Yep, we're outside of the Hermitcraft world, but we will be joining back near the end. Don't worry, this adventure is worth it. Chapter 4. The four of them, along with the 10 dogs, arrived back at the place she'd been before. Jem glanced over at the tree, noticing it had been melons on top of it. The man was nowhere to be seen. He'd probably disappeared as soon as he'd seen her with the group. He was pretty sure he wasn't stupid enough to try to get her while there were people around. She had to be on edge, though, because she had a feeling he'd be back. She followed the cat and into the doghouse, noticing Sam and Squishy standing outside. She guessed they were probably keeping watch. While she didn't mind that as she walked in, seeing the cat sitting down each of the dogs, giving them some attention as each tail wagged eagerly. Once he was done, he looked up at her and smiled. "I'm sure you probably want an explanation about what was going on in the darkness and all that," he asked. "Honestly, I'm not sure I want to know," she admitted. "It wasn't from Mr. A's men, I'm sure." "Of course not, but they certainly took advantage of it, as you can tell," the cat, he pointed out with a nod. "I don't have just those guys to deal with. I also have my own nemesis. It's Target, who wants to steal my dogs and take over the world. I had to make sure everyone was safe." She nodded her head. "Well, it seems to me that was the case." "Yeah," the cat smiled, noticing the leecher wings on her back as he pulled out something from out of his pockets. "Another pair of wings. I used these at an advantage over them and managed to plunge their fortress into darkness." "Them?" she asked. "It's a Target and his partner Viva Dash," the cat said with a smile. "Viva is the one who made the mechanism. Hopefully they'll leave you guys alone for a while," she encouraged with a smile. "I agree," the cat he nodded as he looked back at the dogs. "I think the dogs will be fine here. Did you decide what you wanted to do first?" "I think going to the portal would be a good idea. It's where the incident happened," she replied. "And I have a feeling my escort or protector will be here soon, if you manage to get out of that sticky situation." "We can keep that in mind." The cat smiled as he walked out the doghouse to turn to Squishy. "Do you think you could keep a lookout for anyone looking for Jem?" She'd expected someone. "Wow, that fast?" Squishy said in surprise. "Well, the cars aren't just about to leave me and Scar behind, are they?" Jem pointed out. "Of course not," Squishy chuckled. "I could do that. Do you have a name?" "Matthias," she said confidently. "Consider it done," the duckling replied determinedly. Jem smiled, relieved as she followed Scar and Stampy towards the direction of the portal, leaving the duckling by the house as she followed the two of them away. No, that's right. She followed them away. I'm not referring to Squishy. I'm referring to Jem. Okay, we're fine. It didn't take them long to arrive at the patch of trees where the portal would be, as she hesitated by the path heading into it, listening intently. It was silent here, apart from the footsteps of her new friends. She caught up with the two of them as they disappeared into the trees. Watching as Sam went over to the disabled portal and fiddled with it a little bit. She looked over to see Stampy walking over to a pile of stuff nearby. She walked over. She could see a pair of wings, a bow, sword, arrows, and remains of Scar's brown suit. As she knelt down to examine them, she assumed he tried to use his suit as a way to get away from the men, but unfortunately that plan didn't succeed. He wasn't here, and neither were the men. "Yeah, there were definitely torches here before," the cat calculated as it glanced away from the stuff. "I don't see many footprints, so apart from him over there." She looked over to see where he was pointing, which was over to the left. He stood up and walked over to them, seeing a few marks in the ground, but they were difficult to make out. She could see some parts of shoe prints, but nothing really gave anything away. "Well, we do know one thing. They stripped him of everything and just left it here. At least anything dangerous," she sighed. "I can't tell for certain if they went this way, though. One of my dogs can probably help," the cat pondered. his voice right behind her as she tried not to jump at his sudden appearance. With the suit, anyway. Maybe, she pondered as she walked back over and picked up the items, storing them away before she folded the suit, put it to the side, and took out a chocolate box she had to spare and placed it in there. She picked up the box once she was done and put it back into her pocket without hassle. Suddenly, the portal sprung to life as Sam stepped back, satisfied, as a white glow filled the area. The boy turned back around and met up with the two of them. We're good here for now? Are we good here for now? Yeah, we can come back tomorrow to see if the trail leads anywhere, the cat replied. Benji might be a good dog to come along and help us, seeing as he's a good nose and that he is the police dog of the pack. Sounds good with me, the boy replied happily as the three of them headed out of the clearing. Back to the town. Jem hesitated for a moment before looking back one last time, half hoping to see her friend stumble out of the trees or something, but knowing full well that it wasn't that easy. Never was. She sighed as she noticed the other two stop, looking over at her with concern before she made herself smile. Scar told her to go get help. He was hoping that she would find him and get him out, or someone who could. She couldn't let him down. She had to be strong, not just for herself, but for her friend as well. Jem stared at the ceiling of the living room, her mind wandering as time ticked by. So much had happened that she wasn't sure where to go from here. A part of her wanted to get some sleep, as it was getting late, while she also felt a bit unsure if she should try to look for the communicator. Throughout her mind, reminding back everything, she couldn't help but be reminded about the fact that Impulse was also in the woods where the men were looking for Scar as well. The men had definitely found both her and Scar, but she couldn't be sure what had become of Impulse, or if he was okay. She wanted to know for sure. She needed to. The thought of another friend getting hurt unnecessarily still echoed in her mind. At that attack at Cub's place a few weeks back, everyone had been extra cautious. Was that enough? She closed her eyes as she laid her head on the headrest of the couch she was sitting on. It wasn't terribly comfy, nor hard either. Too hard either. She just wanted some space to think. Space to figure out what she needed to do without feeling pressured to do something. What did she want to do anyway? Jem let out a sigh as she tried to push the images out of her mind. Maybe she should just do it and get it over with. It'd be better for her and everyone else. What about Matthias, though? Devin? Where were they in all of this? Were they looking for them? What if they couldn't find Scar? What if they found him too late? She opened her eyes as she heard a door open from the kitchen, looking over to see someone walking in. It took her only a few seconds to register that it wasn't one of her new friends, and she saw it bolt upright. The man smiled closely down at her as he shrugged, obviously seeing her questioning expression as he walked closer to her. She stood up and stood to the other side of the couch, keeping it between her and the man. How did you get in here? She demanded. There's multiple entrances and exits. Your new friends can't possibly guard them all. The man laughed. His dark eyes glistened with some sort of hatred that she didn't understand. It's a pity that I find you alone here, indeed. I'm not alone, she said firmly. I could just run outside the door and call for help. Would you get a chance to, though? The man mused a smile. I'd suggest you cooperate with me, otherwise someone might get hurt. Are you threatening me? She said in surprise. Clearly saw something in that clearing, didn't you? The man said with a sneer. Something that might help you find your friend. You were there? She asked doubtfully. Like I said, I was told to follow you and deal with you if I can, the man said with a chuckle. Now give me the box. What box? She asked innocently. You know what I mean, girl, the man growled. Give it to me or I'll take it from you myself. You need to catch me first, she demanded, and she ran for the door, yelping as the man teleported in front of the door, grabbing for her as she fell to the floor on her bottom. He missed, of course. The shattering glass sound rang in her ears for a moment before fading. I'm not going to let you get away from me that easily, the man said darkly as he looked over towards the kitchen door. As she looked over towards the kitchen door, if only she had an underbrow on her, then she might have a slim chance of getting out of this room. I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up, she said defiantly. What if I made a decent threat to your friends? The man pondered. Or for your friends back home? What if I sent some of Mr. A's men over there to attack one of them specifically? You wouldn't, she said firmly. Oh, I would, if that's what it takes, the man said with a dark smile. Was that date that you found? No, she said, shook her head slowly. It's not like it's the most valuable thing in the world, the man chuckled. The more valuable thing is already in our possession. What are you doing to him? She demanded. That's none of your business, the man said matter-of-factly as he pulled something out. Some sort of splash potion with an unfamiliar liquid inside. If one find a warning, girl, make the right choice, or one of your friends might get hurt. She looked away from the man, down at her feet, unsure of what to do. She knew it was just a piece of clothing, but it could really help them in their search for finding Scar. She couldn't just hand it over to the man. Sure, the man wasn't asking about the wings either, but maybe she'd manage to use that to her advantage. Fine, she said quietly, scooting away from the man as she stood, taking the sugar box and putting it down, opening it to toss the man the remains of the suit. Good girl, the man said with a grin as he stored it in his own pockets as she put the box away. Unfortunately, that's not the only thing I need from you. What else do you want? She demanded. You, the man sneered as he threw the potion. She went to dodge it just as it hit the ground. Part of the potion splattered onto her as she gasped, feeling dizzy. She fell to the floor. Darkness consumed her vision as she heard the man's voice faintly saying something about doing the job right. She faded out of the consciousness. Chapter 5. She slowly opened her eyes to the sky. The midnight black sky dotted with stars. The moon overhead as her brain tried to catch up with her. She was confused. This wasn't where she would last remembered. What had happened? Where was she? She could see Stampy's house just barely in the corner of her eye as she felt wood underneath her. Obviously, she hadn't gone far. She could hear some clashing of swords as she managed to sit up, seeing two figures facing down her potential kidnapper. Slowly, the pieces finally came together, and the man was shoved into the water, spluttering, flailing around the water before throwing something and disappearing from sight. The funny smile. Finally smiled as she blinked, watching as the two newcomers revealed themselves. Matthias? Devin? I don't know where that sentence came from, I'm sorry. Matthias? Devin? She asked quietly. Hey, Jim, Matthias said with a smile as he approached her, holding out a hand. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, she told the man as she accepted the hand and he helped her up to her feet. She still felt slightly disoriented, but overall she was just fine. What happened? Where were you guys? Come inside, we can talk there, Devin offered as they walked over to the door, opening it. They're gonna go in there uninvited, she asked, raising an eyebrow. I'm sure they'll understand, Matthias assured her, as he guided her into the house. She stumbled somewhat as they walked into what appeared to be the library. There were two couches in the room, and she walked herself over to one and sat down. I'm going to see if I can talk to people here and catch up. Can you stay here for a minute, Devin? I can do that, the man replied with a nod as Matthias disappeared. Devin went over to sit on the couch across from her. Do you want to tell me what you know? She nodded her head. I can, but it's not much. It might be enough, the man assured her gently. You don't know until you say something. She managed to smile as she told the man everything that had happened, from finding Scar, to trying to escape from the men, to Scar getting captured and her getting away, even to the point where the man had attempted to follow her and tried to kidnap her, but failed miserably. Once she was done with that, Devin explained to her what had happened. He had been helping Scar with gathering some materials in between his and Grian's base when they were attacked, ambushed by the men. He was able to make sure Scar was able to get away, but he had quite a challenge. Eventually, once the men had disappeared, he'd gone looking for the YouTuber, only to find Matthias by the portal, telling him they'd gone through. They had both gone through and landed in some beach area not far from the town, and wandered around a bit until they came to the house and found Jem being taken away by the man. Odie decided to intervene. Really glad you did that, she admitted, looking up at Devin once he was done. But there's consequences to action as well. What do you mean? Devin asked with a frown as the door opened again to reveal Matthias and Sam and entering the room. The man said that if he didn't get what he wanted, he would hurt one of my friends, she said quietly, whether that was Scar or somebody else back at home. I suppose we should probably give them a heads up, Matthias said confidently, looking over at the young boy. Could you perhaps point us to the communicator location? Oh, it's not far from here. I could take Jem over there if she wants, the boy replied. Either of us are just as capable, Devin pointed out. Yeah, Jem nodded. I feel like it should be me, though. We weren't the only ones in the woods looking for Scar. Then go right ahead, if you're up for it, Devin encouraged with a smile. We can stay down here and wait. Jem managed a small smile as she stood up and walked over to Sam, who led her out of the library and over to some stairs, climbing to the main floor, or second floor, as he led her towards the cat's bedroom. Confusion and uncertainty filled her, but she pushed it aside. The boy clearly knew what he was doing. She had to trust him. The boy opened his door for her as he gestured towards the wall next to towards the painting. She glanced over to see the cat soundly sleeping in his bed, with another dog in a red collar on a dog bed next to the painting. She nodded. She went inside the painting. Finally, finding a ladder as she climbed, she stepped into the room, and she saw the communicator sitting there in the table furthest from them. You know who you need to call? Sam asked. I do, she replied with a little more confidence as she walked over to and fiddled with the device until she arrived to her end goal, sending a signal through. Really hope it's not too late at night over there. I'm sure they'll understand, the boy said with a smile. Or you can make it up to them when you get back. She returned the smile, catching his wording as she pressed the button and sent out the signal. First nothing happened, and then there was buzzing noises coming from the machine. A moment passed as she waited before she heard distant footsteps heading over. That was a good sign. She cleared the door open and somebody approached the machine. Hello? Who's there? A tired but familiar voice said through the machine. Sorry for waking you, Impulse, but I've got news and a heads up, she replied apologetically. Jem, is that you? Yes, his tone a bit confused. We have been looking all over for you. Yeah, we're not in the world, she admitted with a chuckle. You're not going to find us there, but I'm okay at least. Devin and Matthias are here too. Oh, that's good, Impulse sighed with relief. But you said you were safe. What about Scar? I don't know, she admitted. He let himself get captured to give me a chance to get away and find help. I'm glad you found it, Impulse replied. But he also said it heads up for us too. I'm trying to keep up here. You're doing fine, she said knowingly. Just be on the lookout for Mr. A's men for a while. They apparently like to threaten our friends now. I especially wanted to make sure you were okay, since you were in the woods with us, and I don't know if they saw you. I don't think they did, the YouTuber replied thoughtfully. Let's hope they don't figure that out. I'll catch you soon, I guess. If I can, she agreed. Stay safe, all of you. We will, don't you worry, Impulse promised, for the communication was cut. She glanced back over at the boy, who gave her a nod. I think we're good for now, she said with a sad smile. I'm kind of tired, though. Well, get some sleep, Sam stated. We'll be ready bright and early to see if we can find anything new. She nodded, looking away from the boy as she tried not to think about the fact that she had given up the suit, and that she no longer had it anymore. It wasn't the only thing that she had, though. The man probably hadn't known there was more items apart from the suit, and only heard Stampy mentioning it. They still had a chance. She climbed down the ladder as she reminded herself that there was still hope. She just hoped Scar was still holding on as well, wherever he was. She would find him. That was a promise she planned to keep. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, whenever that might be. Be sure to leave any thoughts, questions, and theories in the comments to figure out what's going on. See if you can figure out the mystery. If you can, I'd be impressed. There have been clues. There have been clues. I'm sure a lot of people can figure it out. But I know the Hermitcraft people might not get it right away. Because, well, it was all the way back in chapter 1. It was all the way back. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.